Yeah, are we doing it? Okay, we're doing it. I'm popping the latches. Oh my God. You guys! Spector's legacy began in a small wood shop in Brooklyn, New York in 1976. Our founder, Stuart Spector, had a conviction to build premium musical instruments that emphasized quality and playability. Over 45 years later, we hold tight to this legacy while moving Spector into the future. In those early days, Stuart and Ned Steinberger developed the ergonomic Spector NS body style. Today, drawing from decades of the most popular design elements, we're honored to define the future for these legendary instruments. From neck profiles to body contours, electronics to string spacing, classic designs to innovative options, these NS basses offer more of everything Spector players love. Welcome to the new era of Spector. So if someone were to ask you, why do this? It's so much work to do it. You're obviously making a product that's amazing and selling that people love. Why make this revision?
It was a lot of work and it was a lot of effort, but it's all in the effort of taking us into the future, really. We knew we wanted to offer more options to the customer, more customization, and with that, we knew we needed a full 3D model of the instrument that we could then tweak and make exactly what we wanted, and then be able to drop in things like new pickups or new scale lengths or whatever the case may be. In doing so, we had the ability to look back and honor all the different eras and what is so great about all of them to create this one instrument that will set the tone for what Spector instruments will be for the future.
Okay, so we have two instruments here. You've got a 4, I have my 5. Let's just do a top-down assessment of all of the changes and all of the revisions for this revision. Can we do that?
Absolutely.
We start at the headstock?
Start at the headstock.
Right, great.
You'll notice on the 5-string, the same classic shape that we've used since the 5-string was introduced, really, but we did focus on string pull. We want the strings to come out of the nut in the straightest line as possible within the confines of this design. So we optimized the tuner location in this headstock shape to make sure it was everything we wanted it to be. If you flip it over, we've refined the volute to be consistent across all instruments. So it's a similar feeling and location of volute on every bass that we make.
Yeah.
The necks, as I mentioned earlier, all of the tapers have been looked at. We made sure to define what our nut widths were, what our spacing at the bridge was, which then informed the taper of the instrument all the way up to make sure that you have even playability on every string at every location.
Yes.
And along with that, of course, the neck carves that we talked about. We have our standard neck carve that is 0.84 to 0.94 at the 12th fret, a C-shaped neck. And we have our thin neck that we're now offering, which is reminiscent of those thin-necked Kramer basses, which is 0.79 at the 1st fret to 0.91 at the 12th.
So a customer could request that, right? They can have the thin neck carve or the standard neck carve, and it's going to be the same.
On every model, regardless of nut width, a standard 5, a wide 5, a standard 4, or a narrow 4, which is 1.5 inch.
Oh, wow.
And a 6-string, all of those neck carves are available. At the end of the neck, you'll notice this classic ramp or the tongue or whatever anyone's called it over the years.
Yes.
It's had many different shapes.
Yeah.
This one is not only aesthetically pleasing to me, but also very functional because you think about the lifetime of an instrument. You want someone to have this for forever. That eventually means you're going to refret the instrument. When you refret an instrument that has finish all the way up onto the tongue, that finish has to be removed. It can potentially be chipped out. We're thinking about the long-term goal here. So when you refret this instrument, the shape is already there. You don't have to mess with it.
Oh, that's nice.
Moving on, we're also talking about string height to the body.
Yeah.
That's something that was very considered. from both the Woodstock and Kramer and Brooklyn eras. Really, all three of them have kind of informed this to have the best relationship of string to the top of the body for comfortable playing.
Like, how did you determine what that number is?
Measuring a lot of instruments and feeling a lot of instruments and getting feedback from players, having them tell us what they think is the best. The biggest thing that most people will notice is, of course, the shape of the body, the perimeter of the body.
Yeah.
The shape overall is very reminiscent of the Brooklyn and Kramer eras. The body thickness is our modern Woodstock body thickness to be able to give you that, when we glue it up, 1 inch top and 1 inch back sandwich.
Yeah.
And also still the recessed back plate so that the back feels nice and fluid on your body.
Yes. And is that from an era, or is that more recent?
That's more recent, in the last few years.
Because my 2013 has that big old piece of
Surface
plastic
mount.
sticking up. Yeah,
Yep.
surface mount. And I gotta say, this is pretty great. It feels pretty great.
Good. So the body shape really is one of the biggest things. And
Yep.
of course, comes with that the contour that we refined and made consistent across the top and back. We're also talking about the location of the electronics.
Yes.
And the size of the cavity to ensure that we can accommodate any electronics that we currently offer or will offer in the future, and make sure that the location is right, because on such a compact body, you need the ergonomics of this to work for you, not against you.
And I love, you told me that the volume knob is equidistant between the bridge and bridge pickup.
Right, based on a 4-string PJ.
Got it.
Now, that knob will always land north of the bridge, because if it's behind the bridge, it can be in your way.
Right.
But equidistant on a certain model, and then here, obviously, because your pickup spacing is further up, you have a bit more room there.
Yeah. And I mean, talking about pickups and electronics, also offering the vintage pickup spacing.
Yes, vintage pickup spacing versus standard pickup spacing. Our standard pickup spacing is based on the EMG PJ 4-string NS2, as it always has been, that classic Spector sound. It's not going away.
Right.
But we're also offering vintage pickup spacing, which moves everything north, warms it up a bit, gives you more of that vintage vibe.
Oh, I'm so excited about that. And I just thought when you were talking about it, you were just going to offer it with 1 or 2 sets of pickups, but no.
Every single pickup model that you could ask for can be ordered in standard or vintage pickup spacing.
That's crazy. That's going to blow the doors open for like tonal options on all these instruments. That'll be so fun. I mean, I'm so geeky. I know that there are a lot of people out there that are going to be really geeky about that. Like, oh, what would it sound like if the fluents were in, you know, like a more vintage pickup spacing? Or what would it sound like for the classic NS2? That's, my mind immediately goes to NS2. Like NS2 shifted up a little bit. I want to hear that bass.
Guess you'll have to order it.
Guess I will.
And then the last thing I'll go over is the heel carve, which is one of my favorite things. And in doing this revision, we had the opportunity, like everything else, to evaluate all the different eras and what we love. And this heel carve is something that is not reminiscent of any one particular era, but really a combination of all three and setting the standard for the future.
Yeah.
Because it is, in my opinion, the most comfortable heel. And I love the access it gives you in the upper frets and the way it feels in your palm. It's fantastic.
It does give amazing access. I mean, to me, it just feels like it should.
Yeah. If you're not thinking about it, we did our job.
Yeah.